I'm Karen Gillan, and you were listening to Traveling the Vortex. Woo!
Traveling the Vortex.
We've joined the Doctor as he travels the Vortex, and that's episode number 172. And you know, I never had thought about it before, but a scarf really is like a cloak, only pointless. I'm Keith.
I'm Sean.
I'm Glenn. I'm sorry, I was taken aback by that. I was like, it's not pointless.
Apparently, according to Leela.
He proves his worth with that scarf.
As long as you don't stretch it out.
It's like a cloak, only pointless.
How are you guys?
Very good.
Do anything fun this weekend?
Not a darn thing.
I did.
I did nothing.
What'd you do,
I cleaned
Sean?
the garage out for garage sale we're going to have at the beginning of next month.
Hey, I was just going to ask you, when is your next family garage sale? I might have some stuff to
Beginning
contribute.
of next month.
Beginning of next month.
Mm-hmm.
Does your homeowners association and neighborhood know? Because this is like your fifth one already this week, right?
This will be our first one this year.
Okay.
It's just now getting nice enough that
We
you
don't
can
have a
them.
homeowners association.
Yeah, it's getting nice. Let's talk about the weather some more.
I wish.
70 degrees this morning, rain and thunderclouds and storming this
Oh, it was
afternoon.
a nice storm, though.
And snow
38
tomorrow.
Degrees. It's 38 degrees out there.
There's going to be snow tomorrow
I still
morning.
have my shorts on from earlier today.
Stupid Kansas. So, well, first I watched American Hustle.
Oh, how was it?
Oh my God, it was amazing. It was really, really good.
That's unfortunate.
Because you didn't like it,
No,
right?
I liked it. It was fine. It wasn't amazing, super
Was it
stellar.
Uwan?
It wasn't. Well, let me rephrase.
I'm glad it didn't win Best Picture.
No, it was the second best film of the year.
Oh no,
Maybe third behind Frozen. Because probably Gravity Frozen.
it would have been much
American
better
Hustle.
if it hadn't been Bradley Cooper, because I didn't like. I love Bradley Cooper.
I didn't like him in this, but I think that was the point. You're not supposed to like him.
The problem with it is you want to either like or dislike this guy, and I was kind of meh about him. It was like you're supposed to care what happens at the end happens, and I didn't care that happened to him. And on the flip side of that, you never rooted for him at any time, even when he was targeting these guys. So,
okay, I'll buy that.
That was the biggest problem with the movie. Overall, I enjoyed all the performances besides that.
I'll buy that. I think what it is, I think I just really enjoy movies that are set in the 70s. I mean, I don't know
just
why.
like that era?
I like for some reason. I think the Oscars totally failed. I think we need a new category to nominate hair.
Best perm.
So Bradley Cooper, who's an attractive man, spends the entire movie in this like
Tight,
Very
tight, curled, greasy, and it's like, oh, this is a
Wasn't
horrible,
even really
horrible.
greasy. It was just-
Well, but he had a lot of product in it, and then
What was the idea of a perm? You weren't supposed to put product in it.
Christian Bale's comb over, which
And to start the movie off
start
with
the
him,
movie with
that was great. Man, that was great.
because I mean he's like bald. He's balder than I am up top in this thing, and he's grown his hair out really long. And so the movie opens with him teasing it out on one side, and then he takes this black mask, might be a Brillo pad, might be a dead animal, not really sure what it was. And he takes rubber cement and he starts coating the top of his head, glues this to it, and then takes this part that he teased out to the side and folds it over the top.
Okay,
And
let me correct all of that. He takes a comb over toupee, is what they call them, and he put toupee glue, wig glue on it. And then
I
he
think it
put
was
the
rubber
other
cement.
hair. It wasn't rubber cement.
They
And
could-
it was identifiably hair.
Okay, so every
Sean's embellishing. For
I have
the
no
entertainment
idea. I
value.
have no idea if Christian Bale did any acting in this movie or not, because every time he was on screen, all I could stare at was his top of his head. And then Jeremy Renner shows up, who could have been an Avenger. His superpower would have been, I can stop bullets with my hair, because he had
perfectly quite.
just 70s, bam, there it is, hair.
Yeah, but just like perfect, just like
Oh yeah,
just big and then
like Ted Koppel hair.
yeah. Oh yeah. There you go. That's a good. There you go. Dead on.
Just bam, hair. So, but it was an enjoyable movie. I really liked it, and it kind of like when it opened, it kind of meandered just a little bit. I wasn't quite sure what they were doing, and then all of a sudden, it started getting deep, and it got really deep. And then a special surprise guest star who's not credited showed up. And I was like, "Whoa, really?" And then that turn of events was
The
like,
story's structured really well. I liked that.
and the payoff at the end was good. I enjoyed it immensely.
It's a good payoff.
Did that, and then I spent
Louis C.K. and the movie was one of the best parts of the whole thing.
He was really. I mean, there are a lot of really strong acting in this across the board. Don't put metal in the science of it. Anyway, and then I spent a lot of time dinking around with this Doctor Who 2048 thing. Because I don't get it. And I'm flicking things.
You still don't get it? Even after you've gotten clear to they've gotten past me?
Back and forth. What is the deal with this? Why didn't, when I do this, how come he didn't change? And what is with this? Well, then I read the directions and went, oh. After that, it became a quest. We are beating this damn thing. And I did. I beat the game. I made it all the way to the end.
2048
made it all the way to the end.
Wow.
Well, I won. It didn't say anything. I made it to the 11th Doctor, and it came up and said, you won.
Yeah.
It's like solitaire.
I think the point of 2048 is there's 20 possible... It's like 20 moves and 48 matches or something like that. It's I can't remember exactly.
I had a much higher score than 2048, so I don't know.
No, it's not the highest score you can achieve, because I think I've gotten into the 3000s, but it's... I'll have to look, but it's 20... I want to say it's like 20... 48 matches or something like that. I don't know how the math on it works, but it's a
it was a math thing, so I gave up trying to figure it out at that point. But once I read the directions,
so you got to 11.
I got to 11 and beat it.
I still haven't gotten past 8.
I can't get past 8 either. I was almost got to 9, and I got myself locked.
Robert was playing it the other day and got to 9.
Yeah, he should.
There's a strategy to it, which basically how I did it was I only scrolled right to move figures to the right or down. Every Great Blue Moon, if you got locked into something, I would go up. I never went the other way, because initially I was kind of bouncing my little cube all over the place to get them to line up, and that you can't do that, because then what you do is you wind up locking first Doctors in all the way around the board, and then you can't.
I'll tell you, one of the things I just on a whim did clockwise the whole time, up, down, or up, right, down, left, up, right, down, left. I just kept doing that. Got clear up to 8. Just by doing that.
Yeah.
And I
That's pretty impressive.
Okay, I'll try that again. And then I got to like 5. So I was like, okay, well, that was a fluke then.
Yeah, it's getting to 8. I'm not to diminish anybody's achievements on this, but getting to 8 I think is relatively easy because of how the game's set up. But then you've got to really start.
Well, yeah, because you've locked out all your
structuring stuff, And so by doing it just this way and forcing everything down into that one corner, then you get to the point where slowly but surely you've filled up this side.
Did you post your 11th Doctor win to Facebook? Okay, because it didn't happen if you didn't. So
it only happens if it was on Facebook.
Allow me to double check, but I'm pretty sure
if it's on Facebook.
But so then, like I said, every now and then you'd get stuck into a certain thing that you had to go a different direction with it, and of course immediately, let's throw a first Doctor in here right next to your 9, because you're never going to be able to get that teamed up. But so there was a little luck involved too toward the end, but you can get up to I got up to, I'm to the point now where I can, because I'm still playing it off and on, because honestly I'm waiting for Legacy. That's the only reason I'm playing this thing.
Have you gotten all your characters on Legacy?
No.
I've been playing more Legacy because I've been trying to not max everybody, but level everybody up pretty good. So.
I've been waiting because I have all the characters. No,
I felt like I just needed a little bit of a break, and it was like, new season's coming. I know I'm going to be,
Well, I spent this week looking for new combos and new teams and how to power people. And I found that I really like Canton Delaware, even though he's very similar to Vastra's ability. I really like Canton in the...
Is it the
it's
same?
One of those. I don't think it's exactly the same. It's a different amount, but it's the same. Is it all take so many % power? I can't remember what the.
It's so much damage. Isn't it?
Damage. That's what. Yeah.
Why didn't it post to Facebook?
Oh no!
Didn't happen.
He showed it to me.
I believed you.
Because he finished it as we started.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Because what time was that at?
Yesterday.
Doesn't say, does it? This is yesterday.
It just says yesterday.
Yeah, it probably happened right after. Well, was it before you started Who then, or was it right after you started?
It was right around when we started.
Oh, okay.
I think it was a little after
you guys started. If it still says yesterday, it probably.
Well, I came out of the bathroom right as Who was starting. So.
I wasn't going to say that, but okay.
That's what I was doing in the bathroom. Well, what else are you supposed to do?
Triumph.
Yeah. What else? How did it turn out? So yeah, that's there's a strategy to it. I recommend going right and down as much as possible and fill up that side of the board, because then eventually, as you get down, you've got your Eighth Doctor and he's kind of stuck down here in the corner. Well, you kind of fill up all this other stuff around him, and then you get to the point where you're kind of, because you're needing to shuffle, this whole thing is locked, but you're kind of needing to shuffle this one up and down. Well, you wind up starting to build up doctors on both sides. So then all of a sudden you'll get like a couple of high ones up here and then a couple of high ones down here, and eventually you'll get an Eighth Doctor that you'll be able to pair up. This will become a ninth, this one will become a ninth, and then it all drops back down and kind of becomes a 10 and resets your board again, so you can start building everything back up again. So that's my point of strategy, but that's what I did this week. It was the goal: see the hill, take the hill. Hill taken, report in.
After the fun of working overnight Friday, we went and saw Captain America again on Saturday with a friend of ours who hadn't seen it yet. And then I watched the Wolverine. Which I hadn't,
you hadn't seen it yet.
I hadn't seen it yet.
Oh, yeah.
It was okay. I'm not a huge Wolverine fan.
Much better than...
It was better than...
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
But it's not like an amazing, wonderful superhero movie.
No. But I thought it was really good. It's a strong film.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It would be a great film if I liked Wolverine.
I felt a little let down by the ending.
Yeah. Well, okay, until the big reveal, I was like, what the heck was this? What? This doesn't make any sense.
It seemed to go really, really, really far left there for a while.
Yeah,
like,
and then it almost went too far left, and it tried to veer back in time, but it didn't quite make it all the way back.
That's exactly right, because what happens is it's this very well done story. And that part I until enjoyed. The end, it goes off the rails, and you're like, what? And then they try to bring it back around, but to me, it just got too far off the rails that they didn't quite get it back on the track.
Yeah, and I get tired of the whole "I'm immortal, woe is me, I kill everyone I love, blah blah blah." I get tired of that in my superheroes.
Or in general.
No, they kind of stayed away from any sort of like romantic interest. I mean,
aside from the imaginary,
Gene. But I kind of like the idea.
I like that there was a romantic thing.
I still like the idea that he's lamenting over love and loss, and that she's haunting his dreams. I thought that was a clever way to do it.
It also, quite honestly, lent a lot of weight to X-Men 3.
It did.
It did. I think Days of Future Past will help do that too.
They have to answer two things.
I'm an apologist, though, for X-Men.
I am too. I enjoyed it too.
As a movie, it's fine.
It's not the best X-Men film.
I enjoy it as a movie.
Film.
I think it's an enjoyable film. I don't hate on it the way everybody else does. I think it's unfortunate that after the first two being so good and escalating in greatness, that we threw away all of the character development that we had and decided, let's just throw a war.
Somewhat. I don't think they threw away. They sacrificed developing character more because they threw the war together. But I don't think they threw away character development altogether. It was still there. And they didn't tread on anything that had come before, much.
They didn't completely rewrite the entire history like Origins did.
Yeah, or which I don't hate either. I don't hate on that movie.
I hated it.
It's the weakest of all X-Men films.
It's a horrible film.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It went a direction that it should never have gone. It should never have gone, and it does. That was the first one to bring up the inconsistencies.
I don't.
The second one was
I don't have issues.
A phenomenal film, first class. Phenomenal film. But
if you treat it as a reboot,
it's fine. It completely destroys the continuity.
I don't think so.
If you treat it as a reboot,
it does.
And ignore the previous films. Now,
I don't think so.
Days of Future Past will change all of that. That's how I was okay with X-Men First Class, was because it's a completely different story. It's a completely different.
Well, they have to fix it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Now that they're bringing them together, they have to. Yes.
Well, but that's almost a given at this point. Now that we know for sure that they're going to be in this thing together, we know that these two universes are not separate things.
If they were two separate universes, I would have been okay with it. It's like Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man. They're separate.
I never looked at them as two separate universes. I always felt like this could work.
Well,
I don't know how it'll work.
There's too many continuity errors. Way too many continuity errors. The most glaring is where Magneto gets his helmet. I mean, that's number one. And the idea that
never mind the whole Beast story.
They put forth the fact that what's the big chamber that he goes in to look
Cerebro.
for mutants? Yeah, Cerebro. That he and Magneto built it, And then we find out, no, it was Hank that built it. I mean, it's just, and it was a preconceived idea before they even got to it. So there's tons. I mean, you can go back and just, it's a great film. It's fantastic.
Fine as a restart.
There's at least 15 continuity errors in it. There's a website that was devoted to it at one time. I don't know if it's still around. It's terrible. And they weren't ones that you had to dig for either. They smacked me in the face. I went, wow, okay, that didn't work either.
I'm going to do a rewatch of all of them before.
I think I'm going to.
Maybe I just glossed over it and went,
Origins.
We'll tweet along.
Well, maybe.
Sure, why not? Let me know when you're watching. Day or night, we'll tweet along. Maybe it just be you and me, but we'll tweet along.
I'm sure Brittany will join in.
I started the great rewatch like the end of last year, and then I felt because I was going to work up to Wolverine. And Wolverine came out, and I went, "Oh, damn it!"
Mel and I talked about it. We talked about when we got ready to watch Wolverine because we came to Wolverine kind of late in the party anyway, and we talked about do we need to go back and rewatch all of these movies leading up to this? And I'm like, I'd rather wait because I know we're going to want to rewatch the majority of them before Days of Future Past comes out. So let's just go ahead and dive into Wolverine. It's Wolverine. I mean, what do we need to know?
Every last one of them, even Origins.
I did appreciate that the Wolverine did not try to be a prequel. It was set after the fact. I did like that a lot.
Yep.
I think.
Well, it didn't.
I think I really want a Deadpool movie. Here's why.
So I want that bad taste of that.
No. I want a superhero. I want a superhero that's just having a blast.
Deadpool's not a superhero though.
Well, a costumed person, vigilante, whatever. Somebody.
A mercenary.
Costumed adventurer.
A costumed adventurer just having a ball and loving doing it. Instead of being so conflicted.
Have you ever read the comics?
No.
Well, then you're going by the
I'm going by the
Deadpool
surface.
mythos from now.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's funny how I look at where Deadpool's come to this point, and I look at it, and it's an enjoyable character. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy where Deadpool is now. But I look at that and I hear all these people. I hear all these people talk about all of the different aspects of Deadpool now and how he's such a great character, and he's just this. And then I think nobody that knows Deadpool now that likes Deadpool has really followed his history because it's been all over the place. And anyway,
I think I want kind of like what looks like the first half of Amazing Spider-Man 2 is going to be. Is he's just having fun, loving being Spider-Man without the great consequences. I just want a whole movie of that. I think it'd be fun.
Well, they have to go really light with Spider-Man 2 because there's going to be ultimate tragedy, in my opinion. So.
Yeah. Can we talk about the two things at the end of the movie that I think they need to address in Days of Future Past? Should we throw up a spoiler flag?
We could throw it up now, but Wolverine's been out long enough.
And it's been out on DVD.
Yep.
I've seen clips from Days of Future Past. I need to see how he gets back his adamantium claws. I need to have a line dropped in there somewhere.
Those scenes, that's one thing that bothers me is that's modern day that they meet him in the airport there at the end. And this appears to be way in the future from X-Men,
they also need to try to connect that more to this.
Right, exactly.
And I do want an explanation of how Professor X is alive. I know we had the end credit scene, but we did not get an explanation.
I would agree.
I need an explanation.
I would agree.
Those are the two things that they need to do, aside from tie the universe together.
Other than fix the inconsistencies.
Those are the two things forefront in my mind until I go back and rewatch all the other ones that I won't want answered.
Wibbly wobbly timey-wimey.
Well, that's the only way they can fix it. It's the only way they can.
Well, I mean, these two things can be simple. A couple of. Oh, look, you got your metal claws back.
Throwaway lines.
Yep, I went to blah blah blah. He fixed me right up. Okay, at least you acknowledge that they did this in this other one, and now they fixed this.
Midichlorians.
In the comic books, Magneto ripped the adamantium from.
Completely off of all of his body.
I can't remember how it was regrafted. Because I think that was out about the time that he was falling off of reading comics. I'll have to go find out how it was. But
are we sure that they are adamantium in the movie in the future?
Well, not yet.
Well, no.
Because they could just be bone claws.
No, I've seen metal claws.
Oh, so.
Right, but that could be a scene in the past before he loses them.
Okay, that's possible. That's very possible. And not knowing how their time travel really works, I'm not sure. So I haven't got a clear idea of if he's mentally traveling back or if he's actually traveling
Well,
back.
that was in Days of Future Past. Actually, they sent Kitty Pryde back in Days of Future Past.
Well, they had the
comic
scene
book.
of
They
the
didn't see
two
Wolverine.
in the trailer of the two Professor
that-
X's together, so I would assume there is physical transfer.
For that matter,
I think it's mental.
I
think
get
it's-
that impression.
for that matter, Professor X may not be alive. We see him wake up at the end in the post-credit scene where he's kind of
With what's-her-face that
absconded
we
with that
didn't
other
get.
guy's body.
Right.
Right? It could be a mental projection. We're far enough
In
into
the
fu-
airport?
in the
Well,
airport, in the scenes
in
with him and
the entire
Magneto when they're
movie?
in the temple, the whole thing where he says you've got to go back.
I'm not gonna presume anything
Because it's
about
far enough.
Days of
It's
Future
far enough.
Past.
It's far enough in the future that it could be. There's a piece of technology, and he's still safely wherever he's at. And his
I'm
little
not going to presume on that,
hospital
but
bed
I
and
want to
just-
know. But I'm with Keith.
I mean, he is
wanna know-
Professor X, right?
But
I
I
mean,
want
he
to
can
know.
do that.
I want
so.
to know why he's alive at the end of Wolverine, which is present day. So I want that answered.
No, and he drops the line of "Not everyone has gifts." Just give me the name of a mutant. That's enough. And if he can bring him back to life, okay. Stitches them together. Whatever.
There's several of them that can do that, can't they?
They need to at
Surely
least name
there's
drop
one-
them.
I don't
Surely
know.
there's one called Lazarus that brings people back.
And the only other thing is Game of Thrones returned. Whee!
That's what I did this week.
Did you watch more?
I'm 4. I'm 4 episodes into season
2 now?
Yeah.
You're getting there.
I can't watch on the weekends. The kids are
Yeah.
around too much. I thought I was going to be able to plow through them one night, and I was just too tired the other night. I didn't make it Friday night, guys. I'm sorry.
I noticed.
I got home and I got on the internet.
Oh, I should apologize to anybody on Twitter if you accidentally if you saw the countdown 12 hours early.
Surprise!
Part of my
Well, that's weird because we got the countdown a full day later the week
last
before.
time, yeah.
that,
Well, this I just forgot to change the AM to PM. 7 o'clock in the morning. After 24 hours, did you do? Okay, I'm going to knock these out before I go home and go to bed.
I got home
Forgot to
Friday.
change 'em.
Got home Friday night. Got on the internet. Was plugging around, waiting for time to start, and I made the mistake of closing my eyes. Woke up 2.5 hours later, and went, "Oh,
And that's all she
it's
wrote.
over." And then I was up for another hour and a half because I couldn't go to sleep because I'd taken a nap.
So you watched it then?
No, I got on Minecraft and played some Minecraft. So, did I tell you about my dilemma in Minecraft? That I started at one house, I left, I found another place, set up, made a house, made a tree house, had all this really cool stuff, and then I got lost. And I couldn't
No.
find my way back. This is months and months and months and months ago. I couldn't find my way back, so I was upset. So I made a new home, and it's even better. So it was kind of a blessing. And then eventually I went off and I went exploring again, and I found my old house. But the problem is, it's like way far away. It's like across an ocean from each other. And so, like the last time that I went back months
Across the
ago,
narrow sea.
months ago, I went back and I got all the stuff that I needed because I knew that I wanted to take to the new house because I liked the new house better, and went back.
Did you
But I
just
always
destroy the old
lamented.
house?
No, I always lamented the fact that I had the old house sitting there and it had nice stuff, and so I went into the Nether today, and I was in the Nether and I was going around.
What's
and
the nether?
It's like hell. You go through a portal and you go to this place that just is like a visual representation of hell.
It's the underworld.
Yeah, the underworld. There you go. So that's more in line. And so I was journeying around because I'm actually trying to for a particular goal, but I'm journeying around and I reach this cliff and I look over and what's down there on the other side of the cliff? Another nether portal. And I thought, well, no, I don't have 2 nether portals in this. Wait a minute. So I skip down the hill and in and avoid the gas who's shooting at me and pop into this nether portal. Where does it take me?
Your old house.
My old house. Well, it's just a journey through a
Just a journey through hell.
nether fortress and across a field, or over a mountain across a field. I thought, that's much quicker than going across the ocean. So I went and protected that nether portal because it was pretty vulnerable and open. In fact, it had been hit once, so only half of it was still lit up. So I went and I made a path so that I could remember exactly how to go. And now I travel through the nether between my houses. So I'm very proud of myself. Nobody else cares about that. But Sean can appreciate
I can appreciate it. You found the wormhole. You found the subspace.
That's exactly what it is. It's a subspace.
Instead of traveling all the way around the peach, you went right through the middle of it.
That's exactly what I did. I was so proud of myself. It wasn't until I did it and then I was coming back out and I thought, this is perfect. I could just traverse the distance between the nether and it's like an eighth of the distance. I mean, relatively. And so I was like, but I've got it. Then, and actually, I had a hard time finding my way back to my first nether portal so that I could get back. But after I struggled getting back to there, little Caitlin next to me goes, "You should build a path." And I went, "You're right." And so there's a cobblestone path now.
So now you can find it.
I had so much cobblestone at the old place.
Oh, yeah.
Like tons of cobblestone at the old place that I made all I have to do is walk the path. And I'm there. It was wonderful. So anyway, nobody else cares again, but I'm very proud of the fact that now I have a wormhole.
I got up to 150 gold bricks in Lego Marble.
Ooh.
How
many are 200?
There are 210, I think. I've got two
More
more
than halfway there. Quite a bit more than halfway there.
red. Two more Deadpool bricks
Why are you
to
still...
get all of them. So I'm almost done with that.
Well,
And then
good.
I also hung pictures today.
Saw that. And you posted that on Facebook. So
Yeah, and I finally got Colin Baker hung.
I still think
And,
that needs to go on top.
I got the minimalist poster moved.
Where's it at? Oh, around the corner there.
Yeah,
Oh, I kind of like it there.
yeah, it works well. 'Cause these are going to go away over to that wall. It's going to be the Firefly wall now. Then we got some more stuff hung in the bedroom too. So now I have to wait.
You got
no,
swing.
I'm waiting for the.
He just laughed.
Notice you didn't answer that.
I'm waiting for them to go on sale because I need like 3 more still.
Frames.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm very, very frustrated over the frame situation now because I've been checking on these stupid frames from Michaels that I like for months.
Yeah,
and they
that's
have
what-
not. They've put every other frame they offer on sale
Because you
except
guys
for the
bought
ones that
so
I
many
want.
of them, they're going, well, these are hot sellers. We don't want to.
I was going to go with these metal frames like this for the one I got from Planet Comic Con, but they only come in a 2-pack. So I had to go with a different one.
Well, eventually you'd get another.
Yeah,
that
probably.
size.
And then I realized, maybe the minimalist might be that same size.
Not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
Because it's in a frame bigger than it. Because that's
Oh, that's
how
right,
that's
you
how it
got
came
it.
to me.
Yeah.
That's
It
right.
came to me that way. So I don't know. One of these days,
Well, they look good, Keith.
Thank you.
I like how you've done it, except you've got Matt and Karen backwards. But Matt should be on top.
And how come the Firefly wall is...
it's not done yet. I don't have frames for the rest.
Well, yeah, but they're going to go over there too, aren't they?
Maybe I haven't decided.
Oh, I would. I totally would.
I
You
need
gotta
to
keep
move
them together.
Sherlock then. On this wall over here, Sherlock is.
Well, Sherlock can come over here on this wall.
No,
Because
we
this
can't.
is art.
We can't move that wall.
No,
We can't move them.
those two stay there. Sherlock goes with them to create a grouping that is all
Or I
art.
could just not put my photographs up that I've taken and put Sherlock over here. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
He would look good on the blue
We're talking
wall.
about stuff nobody can see. So.
He would look good on the blue wall.
Let's move on to news.
News.
Am I reading any of these news items?
Yes, all of them.
Then I should probably be prepared.
First up, a second Doctor Who Lego proposal reaches the review stage.
Oh,
So it's
I should
also
stop making surprise noises. This is 2 weeks in a row that I've now gagged myself doing that. Excuse me.
got the 10,000 people needed to move it onto the review stage.
Like there was any doubt that was going to happen.
Okay.
Well, I'm kind of surprised that the second one did once the first one did. I haven't really looked at the pictures, but from the I don't remember what the other ones look like, but these I'm not overly impressed by. So, yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Hoot.
We should mention that.
Is one of these projects a video game? Because I really don't care.
I
No,
think I've got it in
physical.
the same boat.
I
At this
want a
point,
video game.
it'll be great when the toys hit the shelves, but I want the video game. We should mention that the two Peters are having birthdays this week. Peter Davison, happy birthday to him. Today, Sunday. Actually, it is still Sunday for us recording right now. And then when this comes out on Monday, it will be Peter Capaldi's birthday. So happy birthday to those two doctors. Keith's got some casting news.
Yes, Ben Miller joins the cast lineup. He is going to be. I thought I saw somewhere.
he playing a companion?
I saw somewhere that he's going to be...
A recurring character.
I saw somewhere that he was going to be a villain, but this is not confirming that. Yeah.
The Master.
Mark Gatiss has written a storming villain for this new episode.
Stormy?
Storming.
Stormageddon!
Storming villain for his new episode, and with Capaldi and the TARDIS, we knew we needed somebody special to send everybody behind this open. Quite frankly, it's about time Ben Miller was in Doctor Who.
Who's Ben Miller?
Ben Miller was on Armstrong and Miller, a comedy show.
He's a comedian?
He's a comedian. Death in Paradise. Let me find what else he has been in.
He's a serious-looking guy, though.
Yeah, he is a very serious-looking guy.
How's he a comedian? He's good. He's got a great villainous look. You go, Ben.
He was in Johnny English.
Was he the bad guy in that?
I do not know.
I don't remember.
But
he wasn't the hero.
Razzle dazzle. Well, neither was.
His scenes were deleted.
Well, that's why I don't remember.
He was in Primeval. What was the show he was in? He was. I'm failing us. Hold on.
Oh, he was also in Johnny English Reborn, which I haven't seen yet.
So maybe he wasn't the villain then.
He's been on the Catherine Tate Show, Comic Relief, Moving Wallpaper, Pope Town, Doc Martin, Starry Night. Nothing that
I would have known him.
Johnny English.
Okay. Well, if anybody's watched Primeval, they would know him from that. That's something a lot of people might have watched.
Which one is he in Primeval?
The TV series?
Yes, I'm aware it's a TV series.
I just want to make sure you know which one it is. James Lester.
Oh, he was in the Indiana Jones Chronicles.
What does he look like?
He was in the first episode of Young Indiana Jones Chronicles.
Not the guy I thought. Yeah, he's got a really good villain look, though.
Yeah, he does. He was the French officer in the first episode.
You know who else was in the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles?
Sean Patrick.
John Pertwee.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I did know that.
I think Sean or John?
John played a German officer in the one where they're stealing the Zeppelin, or where he's getting information on the Zeppelin, and he I don't think he had any line. Maybe he had one line, but he's just standing in the background going, and I'm like, oh my God, I know who that is.
You know who wasn't on that list? Oh, well, because they did new series. You know who else is in Game of Thrones that I kept looking at for the longest time going, I know that guy. You should know who I'm talking about because I'm just like that kind of person.
Trying to remember now.
Julian Glover. I kept looking at it going,
was he in Game of Thrones?
Oh my gosh, he's the what's his name?
That must have been season 1.
No, season 1 and 2. He was the old guy.
Is he still alive?
It's the old guy.
It's Game of Thrones, probably not.
The guy with the beard, you know who I'm talking about. He's on the council. The old guy.
The old guy in Game of Thrones is not very descriptive.
He's on the King's Council. He was
what? The one
Roberts.
Smells like dead cat?
Yeah, that's the guy.
You haven't even seen that reference.
I just imagine he probably does smell like dead cat.
The Maester?
Is that his name?
Maester Llewellyn?
Yeah, that's it is.
Holy crap, it is!
Is it really?
Well, then I don't feel so bad taking this long to figure out that's
Master
who that
Pycelle.
was.
Pycelle,
yeah.
Back up, let me see his picture.
I kept looking at him going, he does not look like Julian Glover.
Oh, that guy?
That guy!
Don't spoil anything.
Are you kidding me? That guy?
I did not know it. Wow.
Holy crap.
Isn't that crazy? I saw it. I thought for sure you guys would go, well, Doug, Glenn.
No, I didn't know that
I
was
had
him.
no idea that was him.
Yeah. I kept...
He is not
all
aged
along,
that... I think it's the beard.
Well, he's pretty old, though.
He is pretty
got to
old.
be in his
I think
80s, maybe.
Maybe if I saw the jawline, I might have recognized him more.
I kept looking at this guy going, he doesn't act like Julian Glover.
He doesn't act like Julian
Glover. Has a certain...
timid and
meek
in this.
In everything.
I don't want to pigeonhole Julian Glover as a Julian Glover,
right.
but
I think
in the things that Julian Glover's known for.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at him as the bad guy in Doctor Who, you look at him as the bad guy in the James Bond, you look at him as the bad guy in Indiana Jones, in Star Wars.
Well, you barely see him in Star Wars.
He's that kind of bad guy.
General Veers has all of like 3 lines. But,
He's still General Veers.
I'm
sorry. I'm gonna rebuff that. General Veers only has 3 lines. You know what? General Veers is the greatest military mastermind the Empire has because he's the only one on screen with a victory.
That's true. That's very true. That was the thing is that I was watching that, and for the longest time I have said to myself, he looks so familiar, and I keep forgetting every time I think of that. I forget to look at the credits at the end to find out who plays him.
Wow!
And then it wasn't until I was sitting there one day and going, he looks a little like Julian Glover. That's not how it could be, though. Off to IMDb, and I looked it up, and there he was, and I went, "Wow, how did I miss that?"
That's fairly awesome.
All right, sorry.
So I looked it up, and Ben Miller and Peter Capaldi shared a stage together, but they weren't on television.
Okay.
That's what I saw.
Oh, good. Now that's how we got off of that, didn't it? Well, speaking of
yay, Ben Miller.
Yay, Ben Miller.
Speaking of stage and film and all things good,
Some BAFTA nominations are out.
The BAFTAs are like, 3 years behind now, so David Tennant was nominated for something, right?
they always seem to be.
That's weird.
For the single drama in 2014 category, television.
Okay.
That's a special. An Adventure in Space and Time is nominated.
Quite nice.
Yeah. And then Audience Award, The Day of the Doctor is nominated. And that's all I've seen. That's all that's been nominated.
Day of the Doctor.
Very good.
50th anniversary.
Okay.
50th anniversary.
Which probably had to go
Which
into
is
a
going up
special
against-
category because it was released to theaters and...
I would think so. It's going up against Broadchurch and Breaking Bad.
They don't have as many rules over there. All right, and then something we talked about a little bit earlier, but we're all excited about coming up this week.
Legacy
comes back!
Well, it's been here. It's not like it went anywhere.
Yeah, but it's new.
We get 2.0. We get new story and new characters and a new device. We get perks now.
I'm looking forward to seeing how... I haven't looked into it too much to see how
I read a
all of
little
them
bit
work.
about the perk system. It doesn't. When I first glanced at it, it seemed very convoluted and difficult. And
I'm
thought,
sure they will dole it out so it makes sense. And slowly.
the more you read the press release on it, the more it sounds like it's really kind of just an added addition within where you do your ranks and your levels and things like that. At this point, you can gain perks for different characters, and you can apply those perks to characters based on their abilities. Which I said a long time ago that it would be nice for being able to customize what somebody does. And so it looks like this is, and like I say, I don't want to get too deep into it because I just kind of perused it, but it sounds like this will give some of that added, what am I looking for, user interface to be able to, change that up a little bit.
Right.
So, it looks exciting. I'm excited. But they're calling it Legacy 2.0, so it's a massive
update.
So.
And what's the date on this?
Thursday the 17th.
Thursday the 17th.
So, and they did
Easter
say
Thursday.
Easter Thursday.
They did say bear with them, and that there'll be some hiccups and updates and
It's a big update.
Mine came down.
I'm getting like 235
Mine came down
updates.
yesterday, and I was that's how many I got, and I was excited. I said, "Did it drop early?" But it's preparing your device.
Well, see, this is the weird thing. I don't.
Well, every time I log on, I download some stuff.
I knew that.
See, mine didn't for the longest time, and then Saturday it downloaded a bunch, and then it hasn't.
I don't log on as often.
They are releasing codes. If you guys haven't seen them.
Yes, that's why I actually booted it up.
For time crystals.
For time crystals, and they're doing that kind of all this week. Well, Mel sent me the first one.
It's over tomorrow. Last one's tomorrow.
Oh, was the last one tomorrow?
Yeah, they did it Friday, Saturday, and then
So they're doing
Monday.
it all this week.
2 Saturday?
Yeah, I don't know why. It was weird, but that's how the list read. I think I got my third one today.
I don't have the third one in yet. I should do
That's
that
what
now.
I just found. I didn't get
It
day
was
2.
listed Friday, Saturday, and Monday, and I think they just maybe mislabeled one. But
See, congratulations, Season 5 is now unlocked.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the message I got.
I got that too.
And I got all
It's
excited
not
and
there.
went to
That's
play
what
it, and
made
it's
me-
not there.
That's what made me think that it dropped early, but it's not there.
What the heck?
Oh, I was
It's just
That's just
preparing-
mean.
I
it's
know.
just
I was
preparing
borderline
you for it.
angry when it
Yeah.
just, where did it
Well, they
go?
should-
And then I went and looked online and it was like
that
Thursday.
should be-
and I was like,
I went to look for
but
it.
you
That
lied
should be
to
the
me.
last thing they add to the update.
Well, it should have said, "Congratulations, you're ready to receive."
or something.
Series
Not
5.
saying you can go play it now.
It's now unlocked. It's like, you
That was pretty
lied
much the
to
expression
me.
I had on my face, Keith, when I saw that, by the
You
way.
lied to me. You said I could go play, and I can't. That's not ready yet. Okay.
Anyway, so excitement on Thursday.
Yes.
Thursday.
So expect to hear us talk about it a lot next week.
And then a little something that I think Sean for weeks has been chomping at the bit to talk about.
Glenn will have it beaten by the time we record on Sunday. He'll be sitting around.
All the characters dropped. It's done. No, I won't get it done.
It's supposed to be even longer than the last several seasons. So,
which is exciting.
Yeah, let's talk about what I'm excited to talk about, Glenn.
Television International Enterprises Archives Ltd. has issued a statement on their Facebook page. It's the company led by Philip Morris, who was responsible for recovering the 9 missing episodes last year now, in Nigeria. He says...
Can I read the statement?
Yeah, if you want to read the statement.
Because
I
thought I was going to finally be able to put the nail in the coffin here. And knock Sean down a little bit, but let me read. TIEA understands the passion felt by Doctor Who fans and that looking for missing episodes of Doctor Who plus many other shows is an important bit of the part of the work that TIEA does. The main aim of this organization is to assist those archives whose own cultural heritage is under threat. If any programs do still exist, TIEA will endeavor to recover them safely, as with Web of Fear and Enemy of the World. TIEA are not sponsored by any organization. We are a completely independent body. We work alongside many organizations such as the BFI. However, as much as people want significant programs found, wishing them into existence or starting rumors will not magically return them. Individuals trying to extract information which does not exist or is commercially confidential will be deleted, unread. Any legitimate inquiries of TIEA Limited services are welcome. Stay tuned, Executive Director Philip Morris. So my thought was, okay, Philip has now put out a statement saying that regardless of the fact that Ian Levine has bribed somebody within Philip Morris's organization to drop information that is or is not there, and that Philip Morris has finally sat down and broke his silence because he's been badgered so much by Ian Levine, who has been pushing for him to say something to come out. He finally said something. And I thought, okay, maybe this will kind of quash the rumors, because to be quite honest, as excited as I would be to get missing episodes, I'm quite frankly tired of this in the community.
Me too.
I'm tired of turning every corner and getting the same misinformation. And so I thought, okay, finally this will put the end to it. Until I went back and reread the last sentence, or the second to last sentence in the statement, which says, individuals trying to extract information which does not exist or is commercially confidential will be deleted unread. Any legitimate inquiries for the TIA service are welcome. So, unfortunately, that's not going to put the end to any of the rumors when you put something in your email like this, or your statement like this, Philip Morris, that says commercially confidential, which means there still are secrets, or could be secrets. So, I think if you want to quash the rumors, just say there's nothing to tell. There's nothing to report. So you could say that without saying commercially confidential and stir the pot some more. So anyway,
we're working on it.
That's what it makes it sound like.
That's what it makes it sound like they're still searching for new stuff, and if they find it,
they
are.
And I think that the statement
is
very satisfying. But when you put something in here that says trying to extract information which does not exist or is commercially confidential, that's like saying they either don't, they either don't exist, or we still can't tell you about the ones that we have. That's what it sounds like, and you can't. It gives me hope, but then it totally quells the people like Sean who are going to forever beat this until they actually come out. So.
Easter Saturday.
That was a rumor a while back that Marco Polo would be announced this week. This coming weekend, yeah.
Why? Just because it's Easter?
I don't know.
Because everything happens on Easter Saturday.
Arbitrarily chooses weekends.
I can't believe I'm doing this, but BBC has in the years past always had something that they could announce that weekend, whether or be something coming back, whether they've always had big Easter events for the last several years. They don't have one this year because this new series will not come back unless they announce the date on Easter weekend.
That's possible.
So
maybe we'll get a Sherlock special.
Easter Saturday.
Easter Saturday. Anyway, so that's Philip Morris not doing anything to quelch the rumors.
Other than saying, leave us alone.
And
Stop bugging us.
As much
Ian
as
Levine.
And berating us for being evil.
as much as I am a champion of this man and the work that he's done and the work that he's continuing to do on finding new episodes, and as much as I respect Ian Levine for the work that he did getting the ball rolling, I mean, we cannot dismiss the fact that he kind of started the whole, hey, BBC, maybe you should not chuck those. You know, that's kind of important. You should hold on to this stuff. And we owe this man a huge debt. Ian, leave the man alone, please, for the love of God. You're making the rest of us look bad.
Yeah,
just cool your jets. If there's something to be announced, they'll announce it. Probably Easter Saturday. But until then, chill. They got this.
All right, so hopefully that's the last we have to say on the missing episodes until they actually announce it.
To quote John Hammond, what is needed now is our absence. Hands off.
Agreed. That's
All
it
right,
on news,
that
right?
is it. So let's move on to feedback.
First up is Chrissy. She says... Oh,
No, she didn't say that.
she didn't.
I'm reading it. She didn't say that at all.
Tangenting left and right. Dear Vortex boys, Glenn, when did I say I didn't like you talking about yard work? I really don't care if you talk about that kind of stuff. So there's your permission.
Okay. Well, then let me talk about me cleaning out my garage this week.
Now, I'm gonna jump on that one. I seem to remember Chrissy complaining once upon a time.
I think she
about-
only complained about our Oscar talk.
I know she complains about the Oscar time. And, of course, we use the word complain, you know, with quotations.
She
around
didn't
it.
complain. She said she tunes us out when we talk about what we did, or not what we did this week, when we start talking about gutters and things like that.
But, Chrissy, you have to understand that we treat you as the resident, well, you're the shock collar. We are three errant dogs, and when we go running into the park unattended, you're the one that kind of reins us back in, and we've just kind of attributed that role to you. So you're going to have to live with it. I'm sorry.
That's what happens for being with us the longest.
That's right.
And the most consistent writing in.
You earned this, Missy.
Like it or not. She continues with, so I was really busy the weekend before last, and I didn't get to see Captain America on Saturday like I'd planned. I downloaded the podcast on Monday and started listening to it while I was at work. Except you guys were going to start talking about Captain America. So I turned off the podcast and rushed to the movie theater right away, right after work, so I could see the movie, so I could listen to the podcast. I'm exaggerating a bit. I was planning on seeing the movie Monday anyway, because I really don't want to be spoiled on it. And there seem to be spoilers everywhere. Definitely one of Marvel's bests. I know nothing about the comics, but I loved how they wove so many different elements from continuity into the story. It's just so well written. I won't spoil anything for anyone who still hasn't seen it, because people really need to see this movie without knowing what's going to happen. But I'm going to disagree with Glenn that the second post-credit scene was very necessary. I'm talking about the one in the museum. I can't say why I feel that way without spoiling it, but I loved that bit. The performance by the character makes me excited with where they're going to take this part of the story, so that's why I loved it. Anyways, Captain America was a really great movie, and everything you guys said about it, I agree with, except for that little quibble about the post-credits scene.
You'll have to PM me, Chrissy, because I want to be convinced. I
want to know, too.
I still don't.
Seeing it the second time, it didn't seem as pointless.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think it. Here's the problem, and I'll do this without spoiling. It's not a pointless scene. There's nothing pointless about it. The problem that I had with is it didn't give me any more information or expectations than I already expected from the turn properly ends the film.
It's a wonderful scene with a wonderful character. It didn't advance the story.
Exactly, it didn't advance the story. I already knew what was revealed in that, where it was going. So it's not that I thought it wasn't necessary. It was just a lot of times now we're built up, especially if I'm going to wait for all of your credits to watch the end moment scene, which I've been blessed with some very, very great, fun ones. Whether they're fun or whether they're, oh my gosh, moments. This one was neither fun or, oh my gosh. And so the problem was that it wasn't a good scene or that it wasn't necessary. I was let down by it because
You had different expectations.
I had a lot bit different expectations, and the scene was really more of a well duh. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that moment. So keeping me around for that. If they flip flopped the two, it probably would have felt better. I would have gone, oh, that's a nice advancement, and then would have got the surprise at the very end. But unfortunately, nobody sticks around for the very end. Even the idiots, they'll stick around for the post.
Yeah, I can't believe how many people got up as soon as the credits started.
Still leaving. Yeah.
This surprised me. So my mom went and saw it yesterday. She didn't know going in who Winter Soldier was. I was kind of surprised that didn't get spoiled.
She didn't get spoiled?
Yeah, because they weren't secret about who he was, and like pre-release junkets of them doing interviews and stuff.
No, and I was of two minds of that because I kept thinking
he's not the big surprise of the film.
Yeah, he's not. But I kept thinking
that's not the surprise you need to try.
I was surprised though because I kept thinking that's kind of a nice nugget. But on the flip side of that, they also realized that a lot of people that watched these knew the story behind Winter Soldier anyway from the comics or from cartoons.
Well, and there was the one shot in the trailer where you could tell who it was.
Yeah. It's well enough known. So I was on the fence of, well, the people that don't know anything about, that would be a nice little surprise moment. But the people that don't,
apparently some people can still go into it without knowing.
Yeah,
I didn't
know.
That's you didn't
encouraging.
know? No. Oh, wow.
I'd heard some border-ish spoiler information, but I didn't know.
Well, as soon as they announced who they cast for the role, I went, well, they're not.
Well, as soon as they said the title, I knew what it was going to be.
Yes, no, I guess my point was when the title was announced, I knew who it was going to be. Oh. When they said who they were casting as the role, then I realized, they're not holding back for anybody.
I never even questioned that they would cast anybody else. I never saw. I never saw.
My point is,
I never saw a casting.
I'm not saying that you would have been surprised by that. What I'm saying was my first realization that they weren't going to hold back a surprise was the fact that
See, I never saw that casting.
When Winter Soldier is announced, you go, okay, well, Marvel can do what they want, but I know who that possibly could be. Yeah. Then when they cast the character, there's no doubt, So then I'm like, well, this is them. They're not going to hold this as a secret. Yeah. They're going to let everybody know. So,
anyway,
I know where it's going from there. If anybody wants to,
So do I. I'll save it for after.
Okay.
She continues. I'll just say the actor has a longer contract than somebody else. That's all I'm going to say.
Bing.
Before I start in my next tangent, I have to ask people to remember that my experience with Star Trek is limited to the J.J. Abrams sort of reboot films and chance encounters when I'd wander in the room when my dad was watching Star Trek reruns on TV. So, I have cursory knowledge of the show, but I've never really been invested in it. Not very much, anyway. But on a random whim this past week, I ended up watching the Star Trek episode City on the Edge of Forever. CBS.com has full episodes to watch for free, and I was bored. Watching that episode, I felt like someone shoved me to the ground, stole my lunch money, and kicked my puppy. I don't know who to be more mad at. Bones for getting injected with the madness-inducing drug, or the crew of the Enterprise for not immediately restraining him and putting him in medical lockdown until the drug wore off. That whole mess could have and should have been avoided. Don't get me wrong, it was an excellent episode. The fact that I had such a strong emotional reaction is proof of that. It's a fantastic story and well written, and the acting is quite good. But ugh, I need to go find the Tribble episodes now just to have something to cheer me up. Which it turns out CBS.com does not have that episode available for viewing. Fail.
A good substitute, Chrissy, would be A Piece of the Action. If you can find that one, I think that would be a nice one to kind of take the edge off. And congrats on being
any of the Mud episodes.
Congrats on being pushed to the ground and having your puppy kicked. Harlan Ellison writes a good story.
That's the problem. I don't know how to feel about that because
Harlan Ellison is a really good.
That's like coming to Doctor Who with caves for me. I mean, if you came with such a high benchmark of an episode, because I love City on the Edge. But if I had come to that and then watched other Star Trek episodes, I might have been let down and not gone on. But
it is I mean, comparatively,
the ones on either side of that are not anywhere near the caliber of City.
When you look at anybody's top 10 list, anybody who does a top 10 list, it's either number 1 or number 2. It's always up there. So,
yeah, that's just
grain of salt from here on out, Chrissy.
So, Chrissy, we don't expect all of the episodes to be held in such high regard, but continue. Please continue to watch.
Except for me, I think I may have actually put it at 3 on my list.
Well,
I have an odd list.
I think I have that one probably at 2 or 3.
I don't remember now. I'd have to go back and listen to my Star Trek 101. I don't remember where I put it.
I think you had City at 2. I think you're right. No, I didn't. I think you're remembering wrong. I think it was at 2.
Tribbles must have been 3 then.
Yeah, you ranked Tribbles way too high.
Everybody else ranked. Well, it's either Tribbles or City.
As number 1?
Those are yeah.
Oh god,
those are the
Tribbles isn't even in my
there.
top 5. Mine is. I can't remember the name of the episode, but the Doomsday.
That's mine. That's my absolute number one favorite.
That's
Doomsday
my
Machine.
One. Doomsday Machine. That's it.
That's the one thing you and I agree on.
We agree on more. We agree on more. I think it's funny that I was thinking about the other day when I was listening back to some clips of podcasts, and you had mentioned about how Matt said I was your kryptonite, and I got to listening, and I was like, actually, we agree probably on half of the stuff. I don't really disagree with you as much as it makes it sound.
Well, we're going to have to remedy that tonight. which way are you leaning on the ebook?
Spoilers.
Well, I'll tailor my response then. I'll let you go first.
You'll have to go first on that one.
No!
Actually, no, that's not true. You need to go first on the image, because I'm curious what you guys think of that. So, anyway, go on with Chrissy's message. Sorry.
Hold on. IGN did a list, and Balance of Terror was number 2.
Balance of Terror.
But City on the Edge of Forever was number 1, wasn't it? Yeah.
Balance would be Tribbles. Tribbles is way too high to be number 1 on anybody's list.
Fan picked. It's always
Mirror
up there.
Is number 3 on this one.
Mirror's a good one. Mirror would be in my top 5.
Fan listing had Balance of Terror at number 9, which I thought was too low. But
Tribbles is
Space
one of
Seed
those
is
ones
number 4.
I could see it being maybe a fan favorite, but for best story, no, it's not even near.
Oh, Tribbles is 5.
5.
No, I think Trials and Tribulations is better. I love that episode. But that's DS9.
it is a good one. Sorry, Chrissy, we hijacked your...
Oh, she goes on with, I knew you guys would understand my trauma, hence my off-topic ramblings. All right, no more tangenting, at least not for me. I have some Doctor Who reviews to get to, and here they are. The Roots of Evil. Again, I like the calls forward to things in New Who, like the sonic screwdriver not working on wood. But at the same time, those little moments don't take away from the fact that this is a 4th Doctor and Leela story. The part where the Doctor and Leela meet Ven for the first time reminded me of In the Light at the End, when they first meet Charlie and Leela says, Charlotte. That's a good, strong name. As for the story itself, it's quite fun and quite a fun little read. It's interesting to have a situation where the 4th Doctor is captured and put on trial for something he hasn't done yet. Even more interesting that he says he'd never wear a bow tie, even though he did as the 2nd Doctor and even the 3rd Doctor, but never mind that. It's a simple story, but still enjoyable. Image of the Fendal. Another fun story, much in the vein of the Damons. Pause for Glenn and Sean to giggle over the pronunciation of the title.
And that's why you have the shock collar.
I didn't know anything about this one before watching it for Friday Night Who. It's not considered good. Not if it's considered good or bad. Not what it was about. Not even the companions in it. But I liked watching it. I liked the creepy crystal skull thing. Oh, darn, another one of those references. My apologies. And the acting in the story was quite good. Not just from the Doctor and Leela, but also from the supporting cast. I really liked Sherlock's mum's character. In fact, I was really excited to see this when I saw that Wanda Ventham was in it. This story is kind of a hidden gem from Classic Who, and I'm glad I got to see it. I'm done for now. Salt Lake City's Comic-Con's Fan X is this week.
That's a mouthful. Just Fan X.
And while I'm only going for work and not as a con goer, I'll have some reports to make from the convention. I won't get into any panels or anything, since my vendor pass limits me to the exhibit hall. Not sure if I'll get time to do audio updates or not. I'm just going to take things as they come. But I'll try to send something in for next week for feedback at least. Take care, everybody. Chrissy.
Well, Chrissy, we'll take what we can get from you. So
Absolutely.
In any capacity.
Especially if Matt Smith shows up.
Up next is Holly.
Holly writes, Roots of Evil and Image of the Fendal. Hey guys, great last podcast. Enjoyed the AC/DC War Machines music near the end of the intro credits. On to the reviews. The Roots of Evil. Leela and the Fourth Doctor wind up on a planet of trees. They also find out that the Doctor's not quite welcome. For a minute I got flashbacks from the Sandman audio we had listened to a while back, and I have to admit that for a little while until the reveal I was actually thinking maybe it was the Master who had caused the problems and was parading around calling himself the Doctor. But we learned that it was 11 that actually visited the planet and set things into motion with Athera. Loved Four's reaction to seeing one of his future regenerations wearing a bow tie and not particularly liking it. I could so hear Tom Baker's voice saying those lines of dialogue in my head. This was a good ebook, and I think really captures some of the later Fourth Doctor era around the time of Philip Hinchcliffe. The Image of the Fendal. A decent Fourth Doctor and Leela story. We get a few brief glimpses of K9. Poor boy. Loved the grandmother in the story and how she was able to help out with the Fendaline. Colby was an interesting character. He knew that something was up and wanted to get to the bottom of it to protect the people he was working with. Thea being controlled by the skull I didn't see coming at first. I was thinking it was going to be Stale. Stia. That's one of those weird AE things. Why do I have trouble with that? Stall, right?
Stall, yeah, I think
Stall.
So. Stall.
The costume that Thea had on the end with all of her makeup reminded me just a little bit of a weeping angel with all of the movements that she was making and having her eyes closed. We had some comedic lines with the Fourth Doctor asking if the skull, if it would like a jelly baby. The ending was neat, with Leela taking her hair down and the Doctor calling K9 a he, and the grin that spread across his face as he now realizes the K9 is his, had me grinning from ear to ear as well. I'll wrap it up here, looking forward to hearing everyone's thoughts on these two stories. Holly from Wisconsin.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you, Holly. And Chrissy.
All right. Well, which one do we want to tackle first?
Shall we start with Image?
Sure.
A sonic scan draws the TARDIS to the Fetch Priory on Earth. There, the Doctor and Leela discover an impossibly old human skull that is the key to a nightmare from the Time Lord's past. A murderous monster stalks the Priory grounds, and within, someone is intent on unleashing a malevolent creature that feeds on death itself.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I liked it better rewatching it the second time around than I remembered liking it as a kid.
I'm in the exact same boat with you.
It was a very dark story.
It was a
very
dark
somber story. And parts of it almost felt like a Third Doctor story. I think more because it's set on...
because it's in the unit house.
Because it's in the unit house. It, as Chrissy pointed out, very much similar to the Daemons.
Pause for Glenn Shot to get going.
And game. Yeah, I mean, so it felt like a Third Doctor story with the trappings that the Fourth Doctor put on top of it, but shortened, because it was a Third Doctor would be 6 episodes.
It's interesting because it makes me wonder maybe if this is one of those script holdovers that had gotten submitted during that era and just never really got around to being produced until now. But we watched the documentary on it. They didn't mention it at all, if that was the case.
Who wrote this one?
I guess I am the only one who comes down on the side of it.
You didn't feel like it?
It didn't
You
feel
think
Third
so?
Doctor to me at all.
I
It
don't know
didn't feel like a Fourth Doctor story, but it didn't feel like Third Doctor either. So.
I thought it was a pretty good story, even though I was confused through most of it. I don't know if that's just because I was tired or what.
I think you brought an interesting point up that maybe this isn't the best one to tweet along to on the first viewing because
there's so much information. There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of theological debates. There's a lot of scientific ideas put forward that you have to try to keep track of. And so dividing your attention, I think, takes away from the story. At least it did for me. Yeah, I mean, it's not one I would run out and own. And it's not one I think I would rewatch a lot, but it would be a good Halloween story because it's so dark and so atmospheric. Yeah, and it's not one that I had a lot of fun watching, but I think it was a good story. That's my short review.
Oh, all right. I'll go next. Yeah, I agree. I remember
Mine's going to be short, so go ahead.
I remember as a kid watching this and honestly being a little scared. Not like not the Nyman, but what was the Nightmare of Eden. The whatever those things were, the Michelin tire monsters, just scared the Jesus out of me. I don't know why, but they were so scary. This one scared me, but more in an unsettling kind of way.
Psychological.
Yeah, because we've got skulls in possession and pentagrams in the basement. There's just even the cover is terrifying.
Yeah, it's
it's a frightening. Oh, and then there's a giant hooded cobra worm pipe cleaner thing. So it's just a little off, you know. And so, okay, we've got these scientists and we're in this house and we know we're going to start bumping people off early, and they do. And there's things running through the woods, which there are, and a lot of fog and danger. And okay, we're there.
I think another thing for me was the first 2 episodes felt very Doctor Light to me. Like there's so much focus on the scientists that I had a hard time getting invested to. I think. Until
and that was even a comment that was made on Friday Night.
It wasn't until like 3 or 4 that I started enjoying the story more. I think
for that reason exactly is why as a kid I didn't care much about this story until the 4th episode of it. I remember as a kid being very bored through episodes 1 through 3, and because I was used to the Doctor having a lot more involvement, a lot more action, seeing the monster earlier. I mean, the monster of the first 2 episodes is this skull that glows. That's pretty much it.
Which is
where every once in a while we see the little Findolines, but beyond that, we don't get much. So as a kid, that's what watching it this second time around for me, getting involved in what the setup was this time, I did enjoy it more.
Yeah, it's definitely more aimed at adults, I think, on this one.
Oh, yeah. I think as a kid, I would not have understood anything of what was going on.
Yeah. I liked, this is going to sound actually a little weird, I liked the scientists who were, you know, we start off with science for the sake of science, and this is going to be great, and we're going to do this, and then the one guy has kind of gone around the bend. You know this guy is going to turn out to be a horrible, horrible person. And no, he's a patsy. He winds up, he's being used by this. And it's the other guy you had to worry about. Mr. Blonde, chiseled jaw, looks like a Ken doll. Oh, okay, didn't see that coming. And I always liked Thea. I don't know why I always gravitated to her character.
Oh, yeah,
I was so blown away finding out that was Sherlock's mom. Just clueless. Had no idea.
It's Benedict Cumberbatch's mother.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Who actually played his mom on the show.
Oh, she does?
Yeah. And his
Which
last...
one's Thea? That's the girl that gets possessed?
The girl that gets possessed.
Okay. All right. Oh.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
That was
She's apparently been in 2 other stories, too.
She's
I knew she'd been in other stories. I didn't realize it was Sherlock Holmes.
She's in The Faceless Ones, and she's in Time in the Ronnie.
I don't remember her from Time in the Ronnie.
I don't know. We'll have to go back and watch them again. I know you're looking forward to it.
Time was fine.
So, I mean, obviously, it's an added bonus now. Retconning.
But that's neither here nor there for the story.
Now I know why I liked you, because...
Nice nugget.
Well, and as I said, she was possessed by a crystal alien skull, and now we know why Sherlock's so smart.
That's just it. I, even knowing that she's Sherlock, Benedict Cumberbatch's real mom, even knowing that, her character is just almost like a necessary plot device, though. She doesn't really do anything.
Well, she does stuff in like the first 2, and then she gets knocked unconscious.
But she really does.
Into the thing,
she gets knocked unconscious
really
all through episode 3, and then she's the glowing golden woman in all 4, and then dies.
She really doesn't do anything in the first 2. Nobody really does anything in the first 2. No, really,
that's true. Nobody does.
That's where I come down on this story. Is the first 2, even 3 episodes are a lot of build-up and exposition and explanation and building the mystery. And 4 knocks it out of the park. The 4th episode is what makes this a good story, is really ultimately what it is. But to me, it's at least 1 episode too long. There's way too much of the build-up. There's way too much of the mystery. There's way too much of the background with the science. And that all could have been, to me, a little more hurriedly done in 2. I think you could have got rid of an entire episode. But you don't. None of this is revealed as to what's really happening until you get to the fourth story.
Yeah.
When you I think it's the third one where the Doctor and Leela.
That's when they go to the thing. So we get the info dump in 3.
Go to the third, where the fifth planet would have been or should be, and he realizes there's what do you call it, a time something that basically the Time Lords had created in order to keep anybody from going there, to reveal the fact that they had destroyed it.
Did I miss it this time out? Was there a line drop about where this fifth planet was
it's
at?
between Mars and Jupiter.
Okay, so I wasn't, because I remember as a kid thinking it's the asteroid belt.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
but
would have been Sol 5.
I didn't catch it this time, so I don't know if I imagined
it is the asteroid belt between. That's what created the asteroid belt between
the Time Lords
Mars
blew
and
up the
Jupiter. Is the
planet.
fact that they destroyed the planet,
and that's why he makes the comment about it picked up something from Mars on the way.
What's the exact line? Something about it had its time on Mars or something like that, which. That explains why, even though the Ice Warriors are from there, that explains why the second Doctor makes a reference about it being for so long being a dead planet. I love the fact that the idea of the reason that it was a dead planet is that the Phendaline had come back, basically wiped it out, and that's why the Ice Warriors are then later like unearthed, and they aren't living on Mars at the time of Earth's history. I thought that was relatively clever. It kind of throws away some of the stuff that's established later in some of the other Ice Warrior stories that came about with although they could have taken place, I suppose, allegedly before the non-existence. But I mean that there's I think was it Seeds of Doom? Is that the first Ice Warriors movie or? Seeds,
the Ice Warriors is the first Ice Warriors.
Ice Warriors is, you're right.
Yeah.
But he makes that reference to the fact that's why nobody...
Or Seeds of Death.
It's been a dead planet for so long, and that's why he's even surprised.
Okay, so I'm not confused on it. I remember catching that as a kid, but I was kind of waiting for it this time, and I think this was one of those examples where Twitter maybe was not helping because I missed it.
I love the concepts in this. Again, the first 3 episodes they're really difficult to get through. They've got some really creepy. Here's what I like. I like the cultic images. I think the imagery of this and the atmosphere of this is fantastic. I think they do a really well job with that. A really good job with that. I like the eerie, mysterious cliffhangers that we have. The one with the Doctor not being able to move, and he's trying. I think it's the Phendaline is coming at him. And Leela, at the same time, is approaching the cabin, and she opens the door, and the gun goes off. Wonderful. I mean, when as a kid, I remember just going,
two-part cliffhanger.
As a kid, I remember that just blowing my mind, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? Even the one at the end of 2, and I can't remember exactly what it was. Oh, it was when he puts his hand on the skull.
Yeah.
That was the conversation with the skull. Would you love it? Would you like a jelly baby? It just that moment's cool. So there's these nice little nuggets throughout the first 3. But overall, the story just doesn't really get going anywhere until we get to about halfway through the 3rd story, and then really into the 4th story, where the action picks up, because we get the explainer in 3, and then we get the action and resolution in scene 4. So I thoroughly have always enjoyed the 4th part of this story. Everything else to lead up, it's got its bonuses, but it just overall, it's kind of there. I don't hate it. It's just kind of okay. I would agree. The payoff is certainly worth the sitting through the 3.
Like I said, if you'd asked me as a kid, this definitely would have been bottom tier. It was not a story that I enjoyed.
Although I've always liked the first story. Even as a kid, I liked the first story.
I liked it much, much better this time around. It's not without flaws, obviously. There are certain things. Even in the 4th part where the action is picked up, we've pretty much locked them in the cellar.
They never explain how.
And we have a whole lot of time to go and do other stuff. We can go do this. We can go make salt bombs. We can go over here and do this. We can rig up this bomb in the computer to do whatever it's going to do. We're going to create a feedback loop. Hey, I've turned off the time loop thing. You still in the basement? Okay. There's no impending doom at that point. And then we've got enough time to go back downstairs to get the skull. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, all the parts had to come together.
Yeah. But
one thing that bothers me, let me jump in here real quick, is who let him out of the broom closet when he gets locked in there the 2nd episode? Who let him out?
I kind of wonder about that. I
still have never figured that out.
Well, because he's got the Sonic, and and nothing happens.
Work on wood.
And he throws it down. And then the door unlocks and opens, and I don't know if it was just he kind of looks
Delayed.
he picks up the Sonic and kind of pats it, and then goes out his door. And I've always
Maybe it was just a delayed reaction.
I always wondered that because he's doing that. And my first thought was, shall we complain about the accommodations for a better quality of door to escape from? And I was kind of like, oh, bravo! Oh, wait, it worked. Well, how are they going to? And they just didn't. They just, we're not going to talk about it.
I thought somebody had let him out, and then they never address it.
Well, and that's kind of what I was waiting. Is like, okay, so maybe I don't remember this. Maybe there's something, and again, we didn't. Leela wasn't waiting for him on the other side.
I had forgotten how different of an
it.
outfit that Leela's in this, and Underworld too. I think she had that same outfit on. I had forgotten how different that was from her. And it's really obvious when she puts the old
It's
one back on.
completely different color.
And she's got her hair down, and I thought,
That's
interesting.
I don't think I didn't like her hair up with the outfit.
I like her hair up a lot.
I like it.
Really
I liked
like
it
her hair up.
when she was in like the Victorian dress. I was okay with it up, but when she got back to her Savage dress, I think I like it better down.
There's the great documentary on here. They talked a lot about some of the different things that kind of went on, and she mentioned that she went to the studio barber to just take just a little bit off because it was just getting to the point it was unmanageable, and the woman took like 1.5 foot off of her hair. So having her hair up was a necessity. The director didn't like it; they didn't like the look of it, but it was pretty much once she took it down and they saw how short her hair was, it was like, okay, we're gonna put it up.
I liked it up. It's a nice change because Leela is just always the same.
Yeah.
And so it's a nice change. But I think she had it up in Underworld too, if I remember right. I can't remember for sure, but she had it pulled up then as well.
I haven't seen that one yet, so I don't know.
Or she had it pulled back or something.
I always thought that was the vampire one.
You haven't seen Underworld yet.
We haven't seen it. I was thinking Sunmakers. Okay, yeah.
Sunmakers was before Underworld, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They talked about K9 because he was kind of the late addition because this one follows right on the heels of
Invisible
Enemy. And so the fact that they wanted to include him, which is why he doesn't speak, because they didn't have that whole thing worked out with John Leeson yet, and why he wasn't actually used. He's just there. What else did we learn? The woods. Same woods that they filmed Pyramids of Mars.
It was
all the exterior scenes.
Mick Jagger's land.
Owned by Mick Jagger.
Yeah, I knew that too.
Did you know that? I didn't know that.
I didn't know.
Yeah. And they apparently burned some of it down.
the flames and fire.
One of the generators apparently went and failed, and they had to send an apology letter to thank you for letting us shoot there. We lost a generator. Can we come back and reshoot on this day? But so there was a lot of fun behind the scenes stuff that we learned from that documentary that I thought was a lot of fun.
Cool.
But yeah, the story, like I said, it seems very. It's good to see the Doctor and Leela kind of
working together and
getting along
chemistry.
a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because
that bit when he falls on her was just so wonderful.
What a wonderful scene!
Just
though,
kicks the chair out.
Don't
from
touch me, and then she goes, just kicks his chair out. I was like, wow, that's clever.
Yeah,
clever.
That's probably my favorite moment from the whole thing.
Once again, Leela much more savvy and with it than, and the look of disgust on her face when the guy comes and he's got the gun at her back, and so she puts the gun down and she realizes it was a cane or a broom handle or whatever it was, and she's just like, ugh! She is so beside herself with anger.
Speaking of guns, I'd forgotten that. Tom shoots the one Fendaline, or the Doctor shoots the one Fendaline with the rock salt.
Yep,
I forgot about that.
And this was another one that.
So I think the creators of Supernatural were fans of the story. There's a lot of things in Supernatural that they took with it.
Are there?
Like using rock salt in a shotgun.
Well, that's a lore. That's based on.
Well, I knew salt
actual
was.
Myth.
I didn't. Yeah. I never seen anybody else think of filling shotgun shells with.
Oh, I see.
Rock salt.
I've kind of always associated that as a.
I can't remember another one.
I read
Probably was.
I read somewhere that back in like the early 20th century, might have been even late 19th century, I think it was in the South or the mid-South, there was a lot of cultic activity going on, and that's what they would, the cult hunters would go out with rock salt in their shotguns.
Oh.
And the idea was, we're gonna break up these cults. But the rock salt was for any demons or whatever they came across. And I thought, it's like beating superstition with superstition. What a great idea.
Well, it's a relatively non-lethal.
Oh, yeah, it's going to hurt like heck.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it
no lie.
won't kill you.
But I just kind of assumed that from the dawn that man was able to have a projectile weapon, he went, you know what? I'm going to put salt in that.
I never thought about it until I watched
I don't have to throw it now. I can. And I love when they go down the stairs and Leela's with a salt bomb. Well, but she's hitting the floor in front of it, so she's at the very least she's creating a barrier where it can't come at him. And Tom grabs one and throws it, and it sails off, hits some camera guy behind the stage. It's like, dude, you were not even close.
Well,
you were like. You were like that white guy pulling up for a 3-pointer. Just, what were you doing?
They even got meticulous enough that they put the salt around the pentagram.
I know, she was all over it. She was. It was a really great Leela episode, despite the fact that Louis Jameson wasn't too happy with it. But
am I remembering the story correctly? That they're supposing that the Fendal are why we had the salt myth.
Yeah, that's kind of where. Yeah,
okay.
throwing your sword over your shoulder,
or just using salt.
Well, he postulated the idea,
demons away and everything. Yeah,
postulated that idea. Yeah,
that's what I thought. I got it from.
What do you guys think? This is something that we kind of James and I talked a little bit about this. The shot in the basement where the bad guy is leering and threatening and being all hoo, I'm going to shoot you, and then we hear the gunshot, and then we come back and there's actually the guy slumped over, tied up to the pillar with a trickle of blood down his face. I don't know why. This is my Mary Whitehouse moment for the show. That struck me as very like, wow, I'm kind of surprised you guys went there. It's tame. It's incredibly tame. But for some reason, that just really bothered me. And then later...
It's the later part that bothered... that was more unsettling for me.
When the guy's, the gun's over there on the mantle, he says, I can't... It's not for her, it's for me. And the doctor gives it to him and runs up the stairs and
it made sense, but I was still kind of, wow. Okay.
And this was something else they talked about in the documentary, is that whoever the controller was at the time that, all the scripts had to go through, he sent back a letter and he was fine with the story, but he says, except for this suicide, because apparently, as scripted, he puts the gun in his mouth.
Response.
And they were like, no, absolutely, this is a Saturday tea time show, you can't show that. And then the director's like, I've got some ideas on how to get around that already, because I wasn't comfortable with it either. But even as that progressed and the more stylish the camera follows the doctor out of the room and we just hear the gunshot and know what happened, even that I'm still a little unsettled by. And I don't know if it's because of the earlier shot and I know this is a weird thing to be hung up on, because how many episodes have we had where everybody dies? And I'm concerned about the bad guy.
But it's not very often that we have suicide in a story.
Maybe that's what it is.
I think that's what it is. It's not. It's not very. I can't remember any other instance.
It's not
really
like
off the top of my head.
Sacrificing yourself to save somebody else, which has happened. Frequently.
That's different.
But that's noble. So
yeah. And he did kind of do it in a way so he wouldn't cause more damage.
Suicide. What's her name killed herself doing the Wonders of Mars, but
that we've talked about how potent and powerful that is.
Yeah, it's a necessity for the scene.
But in a way, it's still for the betterment of what's to come.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
but in a way, this was also to stop the Fendaline from using him, or the Fendel from using him
more.
He kind of does that as a.
Are going to help protect everyone else by.
Yeah,
I see. I don't because he was the villain throughout.
It's furthermost to keep him from suffering.
Yeah,
but but there's also that underlying, and this is the only way that I can rectify the fact that the doctor allows him. That's the most bothersome thing to me.
Is that the doctor gives him
the gun?
Yeah,
and the only thing that kind of helps me rectify that is the doctor realizes that one less vessel is better than the alternative, and there's at that point the doctor realizes there's nothing that he can do because he's already looked into its eyes. So. That's the only thing that was unsettling to me, was the fact that the doctor allows him to do it. But it has, to me, to rectify that, it has to be the fact that the doctor realized that, well, that's one less vessel. That'll at least slow it down. So
you were okay with it? Okay. You didn't find it to be more overly violent than others?
No, it stuck out, but it wasn't. I mean, yeah, I guess so, but it didn't. Not that I worried about it much.
Okay, I was just like I said, James and I were both kind of on that same wavelength where it was just unsettling. I don't know why,
yes.
but it was.
And I think
Unsettling,
it was
over
to
the
be.
top, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was supposed to be unsettling.
Yeah, and maybe you're right. Maybe that was exactly what they mean.
That shows the gravity of the situation that this guy's willing to kill himself to help stop it.
See, I don't go back to the help. I think it was just
Well,
I don't want her to get me.
Yeah,
Gestalt.
I know
That's
what's
what
coming.
That's what the big thing.
but that still shows the gravity of the situation of how bad it will be if she gets him.
Yeah.
So I mean, it does serve purpose to the story. It wasn't there gratuitously.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I was just curious. One other fun behind the scenes story is that what's her name?
Which one?
Benedict's mom.
I don't. Benedict's mom.
Benedict's
Whatever.
mom. She apparently auditioned for and was up for the part of the golden girl in Goldfinger and didn't get it. And so when this one came along and she, yeah, of course I'll do Doctor Who. And she read the script and she's like, I get to be gold. And she was over the top ecstatic about that part of it. Thank you.
Thea.
That she was going to get to finally play the golden girl now.
That's cute.
Yeah, that was it.
All right, should we move on to the roots of evil?
Absolutely. I don't know anything. I don't think I have anything more
Yeah,
to say.
like I
about
said,
this
it's better than I remember.
When the Fourth Doctor takes Leela to visit an immense tree space station known as the Heligan structure, little do they know that the tree has been asleep for centuries, dreaming of vengeance against a man in a blue box. As the tree awakes, the Time Lord and his companions soon discover why they are such unwelcome guests.
I have a two-parter for this one.
Okay.
The story itself kind of gets a dun dun dun. The concept gets the biggest dun 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 I could possibly offer. I don't think it was as executed as well as I would have personally liked. I feel this is one of those that I got very, very frustrated that it's an ebook short story.
I could have used much
and
more
a short
story.
one at that because
Yeah, it's only like 40-something.
Yeah.
I felt like this you could go full novel almost on this one. I mean, I really felt like you could have benefited from another 100 pages to really flesh some of this stuff out. And as it was, it felt like there was 100 pages worth of story that, literally using the tree analogy, got hacked and pruned and chopped and just this is what you need to know. And it's like, no, I wanted the rest of the foliage because it was cool.
Considering how well he wrote for the Fourth Doctor and Leela.
Yeah.
The entire time I heard Tom's voice in my head, and the entire time I heard Leela's voice in my head. There wasn't a moment where he did not act like the Fourth Doctor.
I would agree. I think the characters were spot on. Yeah, I didn't have a problem at all.
And the
with that.
ideas in it were phenomenal. I have nothing but praise to heap on this story. I thought it was so great all the way through.
The concept of a space tree.
Yeah.
Just a tree that's that big, and it's an entire planet. I was like, yeah, only Doctor Who can come up with this. That's such a cool idea. And I love that.
Maybe George Lucas.
I don't know about a planet. It's a space station.
Okay,
But
space station.
It's the size of a small moon.
That's no moon.
That's no moon.
That's a tree.
But just, space tree. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm with you. I'm here. I'm ready.
What more did I need to know about it?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm serious. What more did I need to know about it?
Well,
where did we need the 100 more pages? I thought he did a good job fleshing it out. I don't think the story's terrific in any way.
Really?
I think it was just a fun story that had very good character
I think it was,
between the Doctor and Leela. Beyond that, I didn't care about any of the people that much.
I
their
kinda started to
situation
care
was
for-
kind of, okay, I feel a little bad for you. The nugget of it was the 11th Doctor had kind of set everything forward, and when they get to the resolution, I was very pleased with that. But just getting there seemed to be maybe it felt rushed. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I think this is one of those instances where, like I said, the nugget of the story with this tree and that is like that's such a cool sci-fi idea. I don't think we got enough world building to really make it into the possibility. I agree with you. I don't think that I cared enough about these characters because they weren't given enough screen time, book time, to really make me care
Maybe
about
that's
these
why.
characters.
Yeah.
I think this nebulous villain in the basement of the tree who's, I'm going to do this because and he's grown himself into the roots. It's like, okay, but I want more. I want to know how this because you've been poisoning this tree with you've got a strong will because you've been hanging in there for so long. And it just kind of felt like, oh, I've reprogrammed this, and in typical Fourth Doctor fashion, the Fourth Doctor comes in and cleans up a mess usually very quickly. He doesn't monkey around once he goes, okay, this is how we're going to do this. Sure. And this felt like, just one and done. Let's move on, And I was kind of like, aw. A whole space station made out of wood. That was with doctors bounding around the control room going, you got to see this is cool. And I'm like, yeah, bring it on. I'm ready. I was so hyped for he had me. He had me hooked on that first couple of pages. And then we get there and it just was like, I wanted more. Please,
I wouldn't have minded more. But I don't think it does it too much detriments to not have more. I mean, yeah, you might not have. I started to care for the judge lady and the guy they save. And other than that, everybody else was kind of expendable.
Well, like the chairman, who's no, we're just going to put him in this chair, and I've developed this chair, and it's going to elicit a whole bunch of torture because that's what we live for on this planet is to kill you. And he gets immediately eaten by the.
Oh yeah,
it's like
the spore things felt rushed until they explained it later. I thought,
yeah,
the spores were quite a surprise for me, and then it made sense. Once we get to
the resolution,
and the fruition of what's happened, I was very pleased with it. I was like, okay, this makes sense, and this is kind of how this had to go. It was just that building up to it that I was like, okay. I don't really care for anybody except for the Doctor and Leela right now. And
there were a lot of great moments leading to it that helped get me through.
I'm a little tired of wood, in my opinion. That's my problem. Because we had Harvest Time, which was the tree, and we did something else just recently that was another tree space analogy that maybe it was the
Harvest Time wasn't a tree.
Yeah, it was the evil tree in the kid's backyard.
That wasn't Harvest.
It was the
Time.
tip. It was the tip of the spaceship.
Time? That was
No, it was Harvest Time.
No, it wasn't Harvest Time.
Harvest Time was the third Doctor book I read.
Yeah, it was
Harvest of Time was the third Doctor book I read.
Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon, maybe?
No, it was the one that I
thought it was Harvest Time.
I think it had Harvest in the title. But
the 10th Doctor and Martha.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't Harvest Time. He's right. Harvest of Time was the one he did.
Oh, that's the podcast I still haven't listened to.
Yeah.
From when I was gone.
I see how it is.
Well, anyway, regardless of what the name of that was, Keith will find it.
I'm looking it up now.
We had that, and we
Time.
had another instance where there was
Forever Autumn.
Forever Autumn.
Oh, well, not even close.
Forever Autumn had the tree, and then there was something else that I don't know why I can't remember off the top of my head.
Doctor of the Widow and the Wardrobe.
No, well that's in there too. Now that you had that, I don't know.
That was just Christmas.
So I guess the whole tree space thing. Yeah,
Space tree. That's completely different.
It was that thing in with Donna and. What was that audio? Destiny the Doctor.
Destiny the Doctor audio.
That was all.
Doctor.
That was all wood.
No, it wasn't. That was a whole planet that was trying to kill him.
Yeah, it was a planet.
It was
plants.
plants.
There was still
It was
wood
plants.
and plants.
It was
There.
plants.
That's just it.
It was plants.
The whole,
it wasn't wood.
The whole tendrils and
Great. Anthropomorphized
twigs
plants are now off the list.
No. I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is none of that has bothered me, but I guess that's why I didn't get wowed by the concept of a tree space station, because we've been doing this kind of thing for a while with
not to this scale.
Organic.
Not to the scale. I would agree.
No, not to the scale. But again, it's one more thing. So.
I fully agree with Christy that I love the call forwards.
Yeah, but we already had one that had crash landed in somebody's backyard.
No, that was just a petrified piece of
space tree.
It wasn't space
tree.
Space
tree at one time.
It was not space tree.
And then it rooted down underneath the ground and created this whole
maybe it's
society
the same one.
and city. And
maybe it's the same one.
Or one of them, because you get the impression that this Heligan structure was one of many that they used to terraform.
Maybe it fell into a crack in the time warp and landed in that kid's backyard.
But you got the impression that this was in the future, because he talks about it being Earth, and Earth using it to
terraform. That's why I say it fell into a crack in the time warp and landed in that kid's backyard.
The one in Forever Autumn was that species that had been long gone. That was their vehicle. So no, your retcon does not work.
I agree with Holly that reading it trying to figure out who this person was that punished these people. Thought it was going to be the master.
Oh, I got yes, but I also got the Sandman vibe as well.
Well,
too.
yeah, there was a little bit of it.
We had this. Everybody hates the Doctor. The Doctor's the bad guy, and I was like, maybe that was another thing. Is we had just come off of Sandman not too long ago. It felt like there was a lot of retread here, even though it wasn't. I mean, it's not like this guy sat down and borrowed from any of this. I think it's just all so recent in my mind that that's where the story just feels kind of there, because it's like. Everything felt real familiar about this story, and so that's probably.
Don't get me wrong. I didn't like it as well as I liked the third ebook that we did, or even the second, which I thought both of those were very, very, very good. Mm-hmm. This is a notch below those. Don't get me wrong, but
this was definitely better than the first one.
Still definitely better than the first one. But I
put it up there pretty close with 3.
I just really
you and Confer set the bar pretty low, though.
Poor guy.
Where am I going? Just about here. We want the bar just high enough that nobody trips over it on their way up the ladder. I don't know. I just really thought the concept of it was such a cool idea.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. Now I wish for you it had been longer, so that they could have fleshed a little bit of that out.
I think you'd have liked it if it had been longer.
Maybe.
I do. I think it would. I think it would have given you
or
that.
I might have felt more like we were dwelling more time in a tree.
Kryptonite. You are the liquid digestive pit at the heart of my space tree.
If I ranked all the books so far, it would be the first Doctor one on the very lowest, and then next up would be this Roots of Evil, and then the next up would be the third Doctor one, and then the next up would be...
I agree with you there. I'm giving this one a little more...
It deserves higher
Well, it
up.
sounds like it would have been higher up if they could have made it.
Closer
yeah.
to the other ones.
If it was 400 pages, it would have been phenomenal. It would have been the best thing I'd ever written.
I don't know about 400 pages.
I don't know. I liked it.
I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy it
to
to
the end
level
and was
that...
grateful that it was only 40-some pages.
I got through this one quicker than I have any of the other ones.
Yeah.
This one was literally 40 pages. I think I read somewhere.
According to this, it's 55.
Is it?
According to the TARDIS
Yeah,
wiki.
It's hard to ever tell because I get these things on Kindle and it's percentages. It has nothing to do with
It's 55 pages if you include the about the author title page. So and so was born in this city.
Well, Nameless City was only 40.
Well, this does say ebook 55 pages.
Yeah, it's cheating.
Well,
really, to say 55 pages.
Well,
there's not 55 pages of book here.
But but if you
one was only
compare
41.
it, that's just it. If you compare it to the other ones, they all have that much pad.
Yeah, well, they're all about the same
length. You put it
length,
in relative, yeah.
Well,
this one was
was as long as the third Doctor one.
Yeah, the other one was 54, wasn't it, or 56?
55 for both.
55. Okay, I thought
48
I read
for
somewhere
second,
56.
48 for second and 41 for the first.
I guarantee you that there were more pages with actual writing on them in the third Doctor story than there were in this one.
Now, I tell you...
my Kindle says 45.
Your Kindle shows you? Maybe it's a setting I haven't turned on because...
See? Page number up at the top.
See, mine doesn't have the... Mine has information at the bottom and it's percentages and...
Weird.
Unless I can go in there and...
42 pages is how long mine...
That's highlighting.
What am I using?
Let me go... let me actually go to the book because I'm actually in something else here.
Do you have the sliding bar at the bottom?
Yeah, I do.
I get the sliding bar.
Mine says 42 of 42, and that's including all of the background of Penguin and the ad.
We're not arguing that, Sean. We're saying the point is...
37 is how long this book is, and that's still including the
See,
stuff at
mine
the
also
beginning.
is multiple pages.
Oh, yours is actually saying this story was 40-some pages long?
Yeah, it says 40-some-odd pages long, but that includes all of the other junk.
Well...
See, I can get this slider.
I wonder if ours...
The prologue's on page 6, so you can knock another 6 pages off of that. This book's only 33 books.
Here's the annoying part, Keith. I can tell you how I've got location based on words, number of words. I also have 18 minutes left in the book. How does it know how fast I read? Does it gauge as I'm reading?
You turn it.
And then I also have 2 minutes left in the chapter. But nowhere does it tell me where my page numbers are at.
That's because you're using an iPhone.
But my yours didn't say, did it?
What?
Did yours say pages on there?
6 of 42.
Sure enough, because I read on my iPad actually, and I've never seen it on there either.
I said 42 pages. Page 1 is the Puffin logo. That doesn't count. Page 2 is the title. That doesn't count.
Right.
Page 3 is contents. That doesn't count.
That also counts how many pages based on how many words it can get into a screen for you to comfortably read as well.
I don't care. There's 30 pages of dialogue here.
Yeah, in fact, when I go on Goodreads to put in how far I am, I have to put the percentage in because I don't have the page numbers.
Oh, well. See, I can only update the page numbers on Goodreads if I do it through the app first. If I go to do it through the website, it wants a percentage.
Yeah, that's what it has.
But if I do it through the app, I can do page number and then later update it via page number on the website.
At any rate, it was a short book. And
that should have been longer.
Should have been longer.
I'll give you that.
And I thought very enjoyable.
And still very enjoyable. Could have been more so.
I didn't hate it.
I thought the names were pretty clever, too.
Well,
that was fun.
The first two were. Then they kind of dropped off. Like I can't think of anything for the chair guy.
I wish
the chairman. He's the chairman because he made the chair.
If anything was missing,
the chairman.
They didn't keep running with that joke because I thought that was funny. I thought that was clever and funny.
And how they abbreviated them. Whoops, that's not the way I want.
All right. Well, I guess maybe we should see what's next on the schedule then.
And we should.
I think we're doing some Torchwood this week, right?
Well, for Friday Night Who, it'll be Tooth and Claw, the 10th Doctor story, and then...
Because they know how much you love that one.
Oh, I don't mind Tooth and Claw.
It's like Unicorn and the Wasp.
Yeah. Tooth and Claw's good.
It's got an
It's
anthropomorphized
werewolf. It's werewolf. No, it's werewolf.
No, it's not.
It's werewolf.
A werewolf already is anthropomorphized.
It's werewolf for very little reason, but it's werewolf.
Werewolf to do werewolf.
It's werewolf to set up Torchwood.
It's werewolf to set up Torchwood. And isn't that odd? Isn't that how that worked? Yeah, so Tooth and Claw for Friday Night.
You didn't do that on purpose? Surely you did that one on purpose.
I did that one.
Oh,
You did that one on
No, I just know. Isn't it odd
aspect.
what starts Torchwood? A werewolf.
Oh, I
which
got you.
they're all
I got
about supernatural.
Yeah.
Stuff.
More alien.
More alien. Well, yes and no.
Well, the wolf's alien, too. So.
Yeah.
That turns out. Anyway, Tooth and Claw for Friday Night this week, followed by our discussion next week will be Torchwood Miracle Day 1 through 5, because we're going to break it in half, along with the Web of Lies e-comic thing, 1 through 5, which turns out, I told you all that, I downloaded that on my iPad. Yeah, apparently I downloaded it and never actually paid for it when it was out. So I don't have it as much as I thought that I did. So I'll have to see if it's available somewhere. Anybody else looked yet, just out of curiosity?
I picked up the DVDs from the library, so...
Do they have the...
They're on there, yeah.
Oh, they are on the webcomics on the DVDs as a bonus? Okay.
It's a bonus feature there.
Okay. Oh, if worse comes to worse, I can do that then, too. And then... so this is where it gets a little convoluted. So we're doing Tooth and Claw this week, and then Torchwood. And then next week for Friday Night Who, Web of Fear. Yay! Woo! It's finally on the schedule. We're going to watch parts 1 through 3, because it's a long one. So we'll watch the first half of it for Friday Night Who. And then our show that week will be finishing Torchwood discussion. The following week, first week of May 2nd, we will watch the rest of Web of Fear. And then our epiversary, number 175, is an Adversary Archive, which is the first half of our Great Intelligence discussion. And we'll be covering the Snowman, the Abominable Snowman, and the Web of Fear. So one of those things we've already discussed in Toto. Abominable, not available, but we'll be covering it anyway. And then Web of Fear will actually have our reviews of that. The following week, we will do the Bells of St. John, which is a recent one, but it's still a lot of fun, because the Great Intelligence is in it.
No, we'll do Downtime first.
Well, but not as part of Friday Night Who.
Oh, right, I got you. Okay.
So for Friday Night Who, Bells of St. John, and then the second half of our Adversary Archive, which is going to include Downtime, Bells of St. John, and Name of the Doctor. So two of those things we've already discussed in Toto, and then we'll actually have our reviews of that. So if you haven't been able to procure a copy of Downtime, Glenn, do you know where that one can be located, or no?
I have a digital copy. That's all I know that
Okay.
I got for years ago. So,
Maybe one of those Who.
I don't know
Nebraska.
if that company. I don't know if that
what's the name
company's
of that
around.
website?
Who UK.
Who UK.
I knew
Maybe they've got it.
Then that's just it. I don't know that there is a North American version of it. That's the problem. So if you end up getting one, you'll probably get a DVD from the UK. So hopefully you have a player that's not region locked if you can get a hold of it. So.
Start investigating that now if you'd like to join us for that.
That said, I believe there is a... I may be saying that. I may be wrong on this. I think there's a book...
A novelization?
Novelization that was written for that, and I don't know why that's sticking out in my head.
Yeah, you say that, I think you might be right.
I think there's a book. I'm not finding anything. Anyway, so yeah, that one might be a little tough, but we're going to cover that one because, novelization. There you go. Written by Mark Platt, and it was apparently part of the Virgin Missing Adventures line. So if you can get a hold of it that way, that might be the way to go. Well, hold on. What?
I think that was that. Nope. No, never mind. I'm thinking wrong. Ignore me.
This was.
Ignore me.
TARDIS Wiki says Downtime by Mark Platt was a novelization of the independent film Downtime, released as the 18th book of the Virgin Missing Adventures line. So, if you can get it that way and you want to just read it, that would be
just that way you're familiar with the story.
A way to do it as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Coolio.
Possibly a more legal way to get it than trying to get a
Wait,
digital.
I was not trying to encourage anybody to,
Shakedown.
Yeah, Shakedown also was a novelization.
Which they re-released.
Oh, that's been recently
under the Monster Collection.
I got you. Okay, then that's
why
where
I was
going.
confused.
Because my first thought was I thought Downtime was a novel, but then maybe I was thinking of Shakedown. But yeah, Downtime was also a novel. So if you can get a hold of that, then that's there as well. So.
And I'll go ahead and throw this out there just because I know Chrissy will be excited. The following week, Four to Doomsday for Friday Night Who with Peter Davidson. And then we'll be doing our review of Four to Doomsday and the 5th ebook, Tip of the Tongue. So plenty of things to keep you guys occupied and busy, and I'll have an updated schedule posted on the website soon.
That is correct.
If you haven't done so and want to join in, go vote in the the Netflix with Friends, Escape from the Planet of the Apes. There's a poll up on our website on a post.
Voted.
We've got 6 votes so far, so go weigh in. You have until the 21st is when the poll closes. So,
which is like next week?
Yeah. Giving people plenty of time.
That's a long poll for us.
It's a week from...
What is the 21st? Is that a Monday?
It's a Monday.
Okay. Because I was going to say, that doesn't seem right, because that's the first day that's on the poll. But no, you're right. Tuesday the 22nd.
Tuesday the 22nd is the first date on the poll.
Available date on the poll.
And that's the one leading right now. So
Tuesday is
leading.
At what time?
It was.
There it is.
It was 11:30.
At 11:30.
It was a coin flip for me. Either day is fine.
Wait,
both those
there
times,
are 4 options.
Yeah.
I can't vote.
You've already voted?
I've not voted. Who voted? Somebody voted for me. I haven't voted yet.
Oh, no. That's weird.
Are you signed in as Traveling the Vortex, or are you signed in as...
I'm signed in as me right now.
I'm signed in as me.
Oh, okay.
I didn't vote in this. I wonder what I voted for.
Well, only 2 people have voted for Thursday, April 24th. So
sign out and sign back in, and then you can vote. All right. Anything else that we need to cover before we sign off this week?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, if that's going to do it for this week, until next week, I'm Glenn.
I'm Sean.
I'm Keith.
Cheers.
Good night, everybody.
Be seeing you.
You have been listening to Traveling the Vortex. Doctor Who and all of its associated programs are owned and trademarked by the BBC. No infringement is intended or implied.